Okay, good. I'm good. Ready to go. Hey, welcome back to the Springs Radio Real Estate Show. I'm Cheryl Garlock with Colorado Front Range Properties. My very special guest today is Lisa Hernandez with Bear Creek Mortgage. You know, Lisa, I was reading an article that, we get in the trade, so to speak, here about disclosures. And I mean, you're in business that is loaded with disclosures.
Unbelievable amount of disclosures.
Yeah. So, and we in the real estate industry, we know that we have certain disclosures that we have to make.
Yes.
Now, we can't make disclosures on things we don't know anything about.
Right.
So, I'm talking about when you list a property, when you put a property up for sale.
Mm-hmm.
This article was kind of interesting because it was from an article from the folks at Realty Times, and it was talking about the non-disclosing seller has a duty and a responsibility to pay the listing broker's legal costs. Ooh, ouch.
That could be expensive.
That can be really expensive. Let me tell you how this is kind of the classic deal. It's one of those situations where the seller says, oh, did I forget to tell you about the sinkhole? Oh, or, they want to know about how many toilets that backed up last year. I've already fixed those. Do I need to tell you anything about them? So the truth is, and that is true, when you own a home for a long time and you're starting to think about selling it, you kind of got to index your brain, so to speak, and say, okay, wait a minute, I've had actual knowledge, I've had some defects on the house, I need to, even though I fixed them, I need to disclose that they were there. I also need to disclose that they have been fixed. So here's what happens when the undisclosed problem later becomes the subject of a lawsuit, and then the listing broker gets dragged into it. Because here's how it works, you guys. When there is a lawsuit to be had, we all know the lawyers out there will name anybody and everybody. That is their job.
Yes.
To name anybody and everybody that they possibly can get. And so then, the question really comes up is, should the seller have to cover the listing broker's costs? Yeah.
Yes,
they do. Because if you're the seller on a property and you don't disclose, even if it was a non-intended, thing, and there's a problem with it, you got to accept responsibility for it. That's why we have you fill out, one of the reasons why we have you fill out the seller's property disclosure form.
Yes.
And it's really important to kind of protect yourself to do that so that the buyer knows what you know, and it gives you kind of a bit of an information form check sheet to think about and check off what you do know about the property. So here's what really happened. This was over at a case in California. A pretty famous basketball player, I guess, Rudy and Sophie Tomanovich. That's a pretty big name for me to pronounce, They purchased a home in the LA area in 2004 for $4.25 million. Now, according to their documents, they at the time that they bought them, they knew they were given reports and disclosures indicating that the home had active water leaks. Okay, so later, active water leaks. Okay, so they knew it and they bought it on that basis there. Okay, so at any rate, then in 2007, they went ahead and decided to go ahead and list that, and they had they never apparently ever went ahead and provided any reports to their subsequent buyer about that, because in their minds they'd already apparently thought they had fixed it or something or other. So, but apparently what happened was the buyer experienced several leaks. So they were able to successfully sue the sellers on this property for breach of contract, intentional misrepresentation, concealment, and rescission, among other things. Those are pretty strong words.
Concealment.
Misrepresentation, intentional. Those are hurtful words.
And even if it was an honest mistake,
yes,
it's still there.
It's still there. So anyway, but the sellers denied any wrongdoing, and they blamed the listing broker.
Ooh.
They did. So that meant the broker, their company, the whole 9 yards. So, but the jury found that the sellers were liable to the buyer on a whole lot of different counts there. They awarded the buyer, I hope you guys are sitting down for this one here, they awarded the buyer compensatory damage of over $2.8 million and punitive damages, which you don't normally get punitive damages, but they awarded them $250,000 in punitive damages there. And they also contended that the listing broker did not act negligently and they did not breach any fiduciary duties to their clients, the sellers. So The listing broker subsequently, now they have to defend themselves, so they
Yes.
had to defend. That meant they had cash out of pocket, right?
Sure. Mhm.
Okay, so they have to recoup that loss.
Mhm.
So they went ahead and filed an action for a motion of recovery of those expenses, the attorney's fees.
And one.
And they did win. Okay, so the listing broker got a judgment against the sellers for $348,000.
My goodness.
Can you believe that? Can you believe that? So there's a moral there, you guys. It's called disclose, disclose, disclose. That's what the seller's property disclosure form is all about. So make sure you fill that form out correctly, okay? And always, always disclose, even if you've repaired something,
Mhm.
okay? So kind of keep an index, as I said, of what you've done to the property there. So, hey, listen, I got a little book for you guys too. If you're thinking about selling a home too, go to Colorado Springs besthomes.com, and right there on the homepage you'll see a guide for home sellers, tips for surviving your home sale. I guess after that story you kind of need that.
Yes,
Hey.
you sure do.
Give me a call. Want to talk to you? 719-321-7600, and visit me at coloradospringsbesthomes.com. I know some great people to help you sell your next place, and I be one of them. Thanks so much.